Without a question, Los Angeles is the center of the American media industry's powerhouse. Los Angeles has long been a desirable location that attracts artists with the promise of fame and money since it is home to renowned Hollywood film studios located in the heart of the action. Many of Los Angeles' legendary recording studios are regarded as among the best in the world, and although not everyone gets the success they desire, they have given birth to some of the most well-known recording artists and bands the world has ever seen or heard. This video seeks to provide a more clear perspective of some of the most significant recording powerhouses in Hollywood history, including their histories and catalogs. So what are we waiting for, folks? Let's get started with the video. Number 1 on the list is Paramount Recording Studios. Built in 1917 by the Wisconsin Chair Company, Paramount Records immediately rose to prominence in the music business and the art of record pressing. In the beginning, Paramount primarily depended on its jazz and blues labels because it wasn't always profitable. Nowadays, clients and musicians including Childish Gambino, Skrillex, Wiz Khalifa, Ashanti, and Lil Wayne, to mention a few, are hosted at Paramount Recording Studios, with recordings created for artists like Jimi Hendrix, Devo, Bob Dylan, The Talking Heads, Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, and among numerous others. Paramount Records had established its position as a major player in the world of music in the 70s and 80s. The Paramount Recording Studios, which had opened in 1917 and had successfully recorded a wide range of well-known musicians, halted its recording in 1932 and shut down in 1935 during the peak of the Great Depression. John Steiner purchased Paramount Records in 1948 with the sole intention of re-releasing and reissuing Paramount's classic jazz and blues recordings before they gained enormous popularity in the late 60s. When the studio initially started closing in 1932, many of the original masters and pressings were sold by the studio for scrap during the Great Depression, and many master recordings were tossed into the Milwaukee River by displeased employees. Number 2. Westlake Recording Studios. Westlake Studios, which Tom Hidley founded in the early 1970s, are well known for their top-notch acoustic treatment and were among of the first standardized recording studios in the United States of America. While other studios at the time didn't utilize as much science behind the size and dimensions of their recording studios, Westlake was constructed precisely that the recording location of each studio would give a flat response, utilizing substantial acoustic treatment and bass traps. When it comes to superior acoustics and outstanding design, Westlake wins the prize and has attracted performers like Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, Billy Idol, Missy Elliott, and Madonna. Westlake has 7 recording rooms, including 1 mixing studio, 2 production rooms, and 4 full-sized live rooms. Studio A has a Neve V3 console with 60 channels, Studio B has a 4072G Series SSL console with 72 channels, and Studio C has a 9072J Series SSL console with 72 channels. Studio E features an SSL 9072J Series console, whereas Studio D has an SSL XL 9000K Series console, making it the largest room at 104 square meters. Out of all the rooms at Westlake Studios, it also features the most outboard equipment. Number 3. The Village Studios. The Village Studios has had a fascinating journey from conception to completion. Originally a Masonic hall constructed by the Freemasons in the 1920s, it then served as a transcendental meditation hall in the 1960s. The Village Studios is a gorgeous structure with intricate woodwork, stained glass, and other antique treasures that reflect its fascinating past as a variety of houses of worship. To keep the list short, notable musicians who were created in the Village Studios are Phil Collins, Muddy Waters, Steely Dan, Eric Clapton, Tom Petty, and the Heartbreakers. The Village Studios has long been a mainstream in the LA music industry. The Village Studios is a multifunctional production studio in addition to being the source of some of the greatest and most sophisticated studio recordings of all time. For movies like Toy Story 2, Ace Ventura, Dead Poets Society, Walk the Line, Shawshank Redemption, and many more, it played an important role in the construction of the sound and dialogue. The Village Studios is one of the few recording facilities with a functional Steinway & Sons Model A piano, which is one of its main attractions. Additionally, it features a variety of echo chambers. The Village Studios is one of the most popular and genuine locations to record music in LA since producers have access to a wide variety of antique microphones as well as other priceless outboard equipment. Number 4. Sunset Sound. 2D Camarada constructed Sunset Sound Studios in 1958, and since its early days of operation, the studio has been a backbone of the Los Angeles recording industry. Sunset Sound had a blazing start, having been created with Walt Disney's support with Disney movies in mind, and was the place for recordings used in 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, Bambi, and countless other major Disney movies. The studio, which was formerly an old auto repair shop, was chosen as the location because it was thought that the building's sloping ramp-type floor would help diffuse and reduce standing waves and improve the venue's overall acoustic response. The variety of echo chambers in Sunset Sound is one of its most fascinating features. Modern studios typically lack anything like an echo chamber because to space constraints, an echo is created via digital delay and virtual plugins rather than a tuned room. By preserving their echo chambers in good condition, the legends at Sunset Sound have retained something unique that gives them a competitive advantage. The construction of Chambers 2 and 3 connected with the completion of Studio 3 in the late 1970s. Chamber 1 was part of the original studio's construction in 1960. Prince was a major lover of the echo chamber and utilized it on all of his recordings from the 1980s. In its 60-year history, the company has produced over 300 gold albums and today runs two facilities simultaneously, Sunset Sound Studios and the Sound Factory, serving a wide range of clients and musicians. Number 5. East West Studios. With a working history spanning more than 80 years and a huge list of notable musicians who have recorded there, East West Studios is one of the most well-known recording studios in Los Angeles. You may be familiar with East West from their collection of top-notch plugins and sample libraries that feature choir vocals, orchestral strings, and world music. Before becoming Madame Zuka's Hollywood Casino in 1942, East West Studios was once known as the Cash is King Supermarket. The business was shut down in 1950 to become West Coast Productions, a radio broadcasting facility, and in 1954 it was given the new name Radio Center Theater under the auspices of Western Recorders. After 1957, Bill Putnam, who was at the time Frank Sinatra's recording engineer, purchased Western Recorders. Putnam, who is credited with practically inventing the modern recording console, changed the studio's name to United Studios and remained in possession of the structure until 1985. After that he sold Western Recorders and United Studios to Allen Sides. Allen Sides sold the building to Rick Adams in 1999, who renamed it Cello Studios. Cello Studios was in operation until 2005, when it was purchased by the current owner Doug Rogers, who also owned East West Sounds. He immediately changed the studio's name to East West Studios. When Doug Rogers bought the structure, he wanted to modernize it with a more cutting-edge design and aesthetics. To do this, he employed Philippe Starck, a well-known French designer who has received several awards for his modernist designs and innovative ideas. Rogers requested that Starck transform the interiors into luxurious spaces to give them new spirit. He was asked to carry out this request without endangering the studio's interior and acoustics or the places around them. The Neve 8078 console featured in the studios as another appealing feature. Along with the astonishingly large studio spaces, it is one of the very few buildings still standing in the world today. The enormous 61,000 cubic feet of area in Studio 1 gives the recordings a good amount of air and space. The Rolling Stones, Frank Sinatra, and many more well-known performers have performed there. A Bechstein concert piano can be found in Studio 1, a Yamaha C7 concert piano in Studio 2, and a Steinway Model B grand piano in Studio 3. Doug Rogers wants East West to be a place where musicians can come together, mix, and be inspired while also influencing the music of future generations. Number 6. Henson Studios. Henson Studios, which Charlie Chaplin founded in 1917, is among the best places in all of Los Angeles to record music. Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss, who created the renowned A&M Records, purchased the studio that Chaplin owned in 1966. Chaplin utilized the studio for filming, and it was formerly known as Chaplin Studios. In order to turn the area into recording studios before A&M Records could utilize it, the sound stages had to be removed. A&M Records was purchased by Universal Music in 1999 before being sold to the Jim Henson Company in 2000, ultimately leading to the present name of Henson Studios. Henson Studios is filled with vintage treasures, outboard equipment, microphones, and massive arrays of monitors, speakers, and instruments. Henson Studios is known for having a wide selection of tape machines, including the Studer and Ampex ranges. Henson has a reputation for producing some of the best-sounding albums in the world on tape, which is regarded as a lost art in the recording industry. In fact, a lot of artists visit Henson Studios only to tape their masters. You have a brilliantly equipped studio with just about everything you could possibly need to create any form of music if you throw in the large selection of really high-end outboard gear from names like Manley, Neve, TubeTech, Pultec, Uri, and Affix. It's not surprising that musicians continue to visit this building's spaces for recording because it has a rich history, lovely interior design, talented engineers, and top-notch gear. Number 7. Capitol Studios. Capitol Studios is a landmark structure in several aspects and is arguably one of the most well-known and unique studios in Hollywood. The studio had a rule that nobody could record there unless they were on the Capitol Records label when it first opened in 1956. Capitol Studios made its facility accessible to the public from the late 1960s through the early 1970s, allowing musicians from labels other than their own to record there. The studios are currently owned by Vivendi, which is also the parent company of Capitol Studios and Universal Music Group. Over the course of its more than 60-year history, these studios have hosted some incredible and well-known artists, including Paul McCartney, Nat King Cole, Barbra Streisand, and the Beach Boys. The facilities themselves are enormous, with Studio A having a floor area of 2,700 square feet. It contains a Steinway Model B grand piano, a Yamaha C9 console, and a Neve 88 RS console. Studio B contains a Neve 8068 console, a Yamaha C9, 1,023 square feet of floor space, and a New York Steinway Model B grand piano. Studio C serves primarily as a smaller mixing studio. Studio D is a 259 square feet space that is frequently utilized for overdubs and includes a Neve 8058 console at its core. Capitol Studios is a favorite destination for keyboardists and pianists because it features a Rhodes, a Wurlitzer, and a Hammond B3 organ. Neil Young, John Mayer, and Nat King Cole are just a few of the musicians whose fingers have graced those ivories. Capitol Records, like Sunset Sound, has 8 echo chambers that are completely constructed of reinforced concrete, 30 feet below the structure. All 8 rooms have unique shapes and feature various microphone models, configurations, and placements. An incredible approach to add delay, reverb, or echo to a recording is to use the largest echo chambers, where the maximum reverberation lasts for around 5 seconds. The creativity and passion that gave rise to these chambers set them apart from the competition and have allowed several well-known artists from all over the world to continue to utilize them. So guys, these were the top 7 iconic recording studios in Los Angeles. Hope you liked the video. Now before you get away, my friend, can we ask you for a favor? Well, if you think that we didn't waste your time, and the video was quite informative, would you please be an angel and subscribe to our channel? Because we really need your support. We guarantee you'll learn something new from each and every video we upload on this channel. Please consider subscribing to our channel because we need motivation. And if you won't, that's fine by us, we're not gonna be mad at you. Anyway, thanks for watching, see you in the next video.